Welcome to the Hansen Brothers podcast. I'm Timmy and joined by my brother Kevin. We are teammates and world champions in rallycross. This podcast is our space to catch up while traveling the motorsport world. Today we have alpine skiing legend, 12-time World Cup wins, 1997 overall World Cup champion, later turned rally driver, Dakar rally winner, six stage wins in the Dakar, or if I'm not wrong, Luc Alphand, the team manager of Veloce Racing also lately now. Welcome to the podcast.
Yeah, I'm happy to join, really happy to share this moment with you. And Shianahalla, my Swedish, basic Swedish.
I love your Swedish accent because it's you can tell you're from Gothenburg, but still it's mostly French. But you still hear the Gothenburg accent through. It's very funny.
Yeah, går bra.
Perfect.
So it's good for me and Luke when we're on races because we can always speak, in our secret own language in Swedish because there is English and there is French, but me and him can speak separately if we need to have a little special chat between just the two of us. But it's good because you speak the French, English, and Swedish. You communicate with everyone in the team in their own language. I think it's completely unique.
Yeah, it's good. I mean, that's. My wife, she's Swedish, and then my daughter raced for Sweden. So I think we have like good connection with Sweden since so long. And, but it's not so secret in Extreme E, and there's lots of Swedish also. So we need to take care about that.
Yeah, we do. Especially our neighbor is Timmy, so we need to be careful he doesn't listen in.
I always listen. I'm like this on the tent wall the whole day. I'm just like that, trying to hear your secrets.
Yeah.
You have done so much throughout your career, throughout your life. Now your kids are racing in downhill skiing on the very highest level. But can we just rewind to the beginning? You started as a skier, right? How did you get into that?
Oh, it was way natural because I'm coming from Serre-Chevalier. It's a ski resort south of the Alps. And, naturally, my father was ski instructor and my mother also in cross country. And, we stepped in skiing because it was fun. I was not the biggest, fond of the gates going right and left. When I was young, I wanted to jump cliffs and rocks and ski in the woods. I was way more, free riding. There was no free ride at the time, but for me, skiing was gliding. It was to have fun. And, my brother was 1 year older, a bit like you. We were so close doing same things. And then competition came a little bit later. When I say a little bit later, was like 12, 14, 16. Then it started to be real, much more serious. I stepped in the French junior team. Then I was world junior in downhill. And then you step after in the World Cup. And it was a pretty long career. Almost 10 years in World Cup to win my first race. And through this this journey was not this easy. I had lots of injuries, surgery, rehab centers, and, was not this easy. But finally, at the end of my ski career, the last 3 years, they were just like wonderland. I won my first races in Kitzbühel. Kitzbühel is the toughest and
it's the biggest race in the
legendary,
most crazy race in the world.
It's the Monaco Grand Prix for the Formula One drivers, and I won there my first race, and I won it twice a day. I mean, I did the double win, and since this moment till when I stopped, the last 3 seasons they were just magic. I mean, when you are a sportsman, when you train a lot, when you sweat, when you invest yourself, when you do sacrifice with your friends and family, all high-level sports are difficult, everything. But you put so much, you invest so much, and then when you have no real return of it, it's sometimes really hard and long because you have frustration about yourself, and you hear only bad comments from everybody, the people, the press. It's really tough. So I was so happy to win, finally late, but to win something, and it was magic.
And what did you do different in the end of your last 3 seasons? Like, what made you a winner in skiing?
It's really tough to analyze. Um, you think when you do everything good at the beginning, when you don't succeed or you don't win, but finally something was missing. Maybe at the really beginning of my career, like 18 to 22 or 3, I was maybe not this serious. I'm Latin, coming south of France, and then going back home on the weekend was maybe some parties too much, and then I was pretty wild when I was young. And this part of my career, I don't regret it, but it was maybe not 100% involvement in the sport. And then after, the second frustration was all the injuries. I was reaching a certain level, almost the highest level, and then back to hospital and then crash. And then that was so difficult. And at the end, finally, to win, to have a good performance in every sport, you need uh, confidence. But the confidence is coming from many small, I mean, not small, but you need to be good technically. You need to be good with your material. You need to be good with your mind and headset. And then you need to be good in your whole environment. And it looks easy when you win, but when you don't have it, it's hard to find a good balance in between all this. Some years you have a good material, but you have bad training, and and then to put all together takes. I mean, for me, it took a very long time, and and at the end, when I was winning, it looks easy.
Yeah.
It looked
Yeah.
easy, but it was not. It was lots of work. It was also my story, my background, all my heritage. I mean, the legacy I had from the beginning.
I find it really fascinating the way like you describe it. It's so hard to find the balance between everything, and I think that's the same across all the like whatever sport you do. If you're an athlete, then a lot of the work is like you did your best, but it didn't work out. And sometimes throughout my career, I felt like the easiest races I've done has probably been the ones that I won. You think when you're doing poorly that it will just be harder and harder the better you want to be, but the most difficult races has been the ones where I didn't do well, like, and then you have to go back home and you have to search for what was wrong, and you spend a lot of effort, and it's a lot of like negativity, and you're hard on yourself and everything. But when you win, it just feels like, but I just did the same that I always did, but now I was in front of the others, not behind. And it's hard to put the finger on what was different. It's super
Mm.
fascinating to hear. Like 10 years is a long time, and to
Wow.
to sacrifice everything
Mm.
that you have to do to get to the top level, to do that for 10 years is incredible, and then to have the success that you had in the end, super well deserved
Yeah,
and
but
fascinating story.
how do you stay? How did you stay motivated, Luke, when you had injuries after injuries, and 10 you go from being a world champion at 18 and then waiting 10 years to not to win a race again? How did you wake up every morning, pushing yourself, saying, "I want to be better. I want to do this"? Like, what was it that kept your spark? Was it passion, or was it determination? Was it just I have to do that, or was it still I want to? What was it that kept you going?
No, you said it, Kevin. It's passion. Passion is it's something that makes you sweat and makes you still want it. I had so much fun skiing fast, jumping 70 meters, 60 meters at 140 kilometers per hour. It was, first of all, it was not competition. It was fun. It sometimes was scary, but then it was most of the time was fun. I was enjoying what I was doing, and to go and to suffer all the way, then you need to have this passion of what you need to love what you do, and I, I never thought bad. I had positive and or negative feelings sometimes, but all the way I was thinking, oh, I want to succeed one day. and I want to do it. But because competition is killing passion. There is
Yeah.
so much work behind, and then sometimes it's not this easy. People think that skiing is, sunny days, slopes, skiing, and then it's good training. But there's so many bad weather days and of training and fog. And when you wake up in June to go up in the glacier, it's 5 a.m. in the morning, and then you need to be so early up there. It's still dark, and then you go skiing in June. So what I'm doing here, that's it. But passion is the thing who really kept me alive. Yes.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Which is
It,
amazing, I think, for
but
sure.
did you have the passion for like the competition itself, or did you have the passion for training, or like what, or just
Yeah, which
skiing in
passion?
general?
Yeah.
Like what exactly was
Yeah,
your passion?
I mean, there's some guys who are passionated by training, but not. I was, I want to race. I wanted to race, and I think it's the same like you. Even driving is different because you have so much pleasure. I mean, that was my life after, but I had so much pleasure, even training, even going fast with a car. But at the beginning in skiing, at the end, I wanted to race, uh, and skiing it's difficult because we train 6 months to race 4 months, and then the year is very long, and the race is the ski season, the competition season is in fact pretty short. It's these 4 months, then you need to be ready. But I was more, more competitive.
Once you decided to stop skiing, you went quite quickly into car racing, right? And where did you start in motorsport? What was your first car and championship?
You know where I started motorsport? I started on the parking with the handbrakes when it was snowing.
Get a few
Like
slides.
everybody, that's the beginning of my, driving career. Um, we were doing the all Alps, from where I live in the Alps, south of the Alps, till Slovenia, in Switzerland, Austria, everything. We were doing this by car the whole winter, snowing, raining, fog, and everything. And then we are downhillers, so we wanted to go fast, and even on the roads. We were driving maybe too fast on the roads, normal roads. But then I loved it. I was passionate by mechanic because I love to understand where how the things are working, with a small moped and then small motorbikes, and then I was
Yeah.
trial and enduro, and I love to dismount things and mounting again, and that's it. But this I don't know if I had skills or not, but it was pure instinct. I never went to a driving school. I never went to karting races, and I was skiing, and then I jump in car racing with pure instinct. For me, it was easy to accelerate, but the hardest was to turn. In fact, to resume. I had big balls, and then it was easy to push, but then turning was okay, something I don't understand. So I had to work at the beginning on the racetrack and then off road to understand how a car is reacting. But I felt I had the instinct. When I stopped 97 in June, and then I made the Dakar 98. So it was not planned. Nothing was planned.
Hmm.
I said, okay, I stopped one sport who was taking too much of investment, my head and everything, and now I want to do sports for the fun and just to see where I can go.
For less
And
risk
I
also,
had
yes, because you had to risk so much doing Super G and downhill with your body, but then you go into car racing, which is more safe for yourself, so you didn't have to keep injure yourself.
yes, I felt safer in a car. Yes,
Yeah.
all the time. Even if we can have big accident in car racing also, but they are in car racing. It looks like it's almost nothing or very serious. There's
It's no in
no,
between.
not so much borders in between, because we lost one co-driver with Mitsubishi, and it was a hard time for us. There was,
Hmm.
but I felt almost safer safer and fun. You know, the first time I went in Le Mans, 24 hours, and the long straight, I was even in GT1, we were driving 310. And 310 was so much fun. I was like enjoying this. It was, and by night, under the rain was a little bit scary, but we were driving 270 under the rain. I said, are you stupid or what? You see nothing and then you stay flat out. I said, wow. But this
Little bit
moment
stupid, but that's part of being fast.
Yeah.
yeah, that's it. That's you know, I brought people are always saying to me, you know, you brought from skiing the trajectoire, you know, trajectory and gliding, but I think that's not the point. The point is I brought for skiing the vision, the capacity of anticipating things with the speed. And that's the most important that I brought from skiing. The rest, it's the technique I had to learn it. And if you're on the rest track, if you glide, you're not fast. So it's not gliding. And then the trajectory are not really the same. I go, as a skier, I go on the rest track. I go too early at the epic because that's my way of, I have no engine in skiing. So I need to go inside fast and then try to get the speed out. And then in car racing, I had to really to sacrifice the braking, go to the epic, and then put earlier gas. And that was shit hard for me. That was not my vision of doing a turn.
Yeah.
And off-road, of course, with the gliding and everything, it's more free. You know, you have different way to be fast. But on the racetrack was really not a punishment, but I had the vision. You know,
Which is super
I did some
fascinating, I
races
think.
in GT1 in Le Mans series or even in Le Mans. I brake so late, way than the others. Sometimes too late, but you know, I really brake late because of this vision of skiing. You know, it's just like coming really fast in. The way out were not this nice, but
But
I
it
was
You
makes
just
really fast.
sense.
wanted to go fast, like you just wanted to carry
Yeah,
speed and brake late and bring all the speed into the
Yeah.
corner.
And
yeah,
it makes
because
sense that
braking
you
was
have the
not.
vision. You have the
Yeah,
vision always to know, okay, the line. I think that's the most difficult. You can't just say to someone and explain to someone just like, this is how you make turns. No, that has to be an instinct from years and years of building. And you had that in skiing, especially in Super G, where it's like so wide and you really have to balance your lines constantly to keep up the speed. And it's the same in cars, many way, of course. It's still a trajectory, as you said, and a line. And I think that must have been the key to why you could be also so successful coming from a completely different discipline but straight into motorsport, because you already had that talent of analyzing the perfect line, and then you had to learn how to achieve that. But that is possible. There is explanations to that, like you said.
yeah, totally right. I had some progression in car racing with like what, like step by step. But it was going like you go one step, and then after it's flat for a while, and then you don't progress, and then after you understand another thing, and then you got to step up. You know, I was driving like normal, no left foot braking at the beginning, and then I talk one day and at the Dakar, maybe one second or third Dakar with Ari Vatanen. It was like
Yeah.
a really sandstorm. We were inside the plane trying to find a good place to stay. And then we were talking, and then Ari said to me, are you braking left foot? I said, no. Oh, shit. You need to do that. And then after I step in with BMW, with Grégoire de Mévius. It was the X5 project with X-Red. And then I, that was my first time I tried. I was so much straight out, straight in. There's so many mistakes, you know, using the left one. And then from this, I really did a big step. I understood something. And then, well, you go there, one up. And then it's the same on the rest track. You know, you struggle, and then after you climb. But finally, at the end, I was competing with people like, I would say, like Ari, like Stefan Peter Hansel, like Colin McRae, and Cancunen
Incredible.
and Salonen, and wow, they were world
Wow.
champion. For me, it was like I was in a dream. I was fighting in the desert, you know, doors to doors with them, and it was like, okay, pinch me, I'm dreaming. It's you know, for me, the
Yeah.
Dakar. It was January for me. The Dakar. I was in the bed watching the highlights. in the night, and I never thought I can be part of this. And then, especially at the end, fighting with people and trying to win, and it was
And
incredible
winning in the
story.
end.
Then I said at the beginning, when I quit skiing, 97, I said to myself, okay, I do a sport just to enjoy the passion of sport and speed and everything. But I lied to myself because, after a few years when I understood I can win, it was like just, I was back in the past, training the same,
Back in the pit
working
again.
hard, trying to win.
What do you think? Like you have done Le Mans and Dakar, two of the most incredible races in motorsport. What do you think was the biggest challenge from both of them that you faced that maybe people don't know about?
I had some moment I pissed in my pant. The first start in Le Mans, we were all slick tires. The sky was black, totally black. And then on the second lap, we had so much rain, and it was 19 cars injured. I mean,
Crash.
smashed on the
Wow.
second lap. It was the 2001 Le Mans. But at this start, I remember I was pissing on my pant, and then I said, we go to the clash, and then it happens. And then I was in the middle of this, and then I escaped. But some moments were really scary, and but 90 most of the time was so much fun. When I won my first stage on the Dakar, I made 120 kilometers door to door with Ari Vatanen, and I won just in front of him. And in Sharm el Sheikh, it was in Egypt. And this desert is really dangerous because you go fast, and then you have 10 round dunes, and then once it's square, and then you jump 7 meters high and really fast. But I wanted to win, and then I was like totally unplugged. I said, this one is round also. But I made it. I was so happy. And then I won my first stage. Ari came to me and said, wow, not bad for a skier. He said to me.
No.
And but all this moment is part of the memory, and
that feeling when you're in the middle of like a great run in cars versus a great run on the skis, like is that the same feeling, like somewhere deep down, like the flow of the race?
It's in skiing is so much shorter, and so much it's more compact, the level. So even on the 2 minutes downhill, it's hard to see. You have a super good, nice feeling on the skis, and then you made everything good because we have, if it's in downhill, we have training runs before, and then you do it a little bit better or straighter, and then you feel it on the skis. Okay, I had nice jumps, nice turns. You cross the finish, and then when you cross the finish, this 100 of seconds, I mean, you cannot know. It's so tough. So you need to see the board. When you see the reaction, even now of the races, I mean, 200s, 100, it's nothing. So you don't know if you are leading. I mean, you felt that you were good, but maybe it's not enough sometimes. And it's hard. And then it's maybe easier on the Dakar because it's a longer stage. And then you have like the dust of someone. And then if you have no one behind, then you know a little bit. And then you know, because a good Dakar is a Dakar where you don't stop. If you have no puncture, you don't get stuck. And then if you have a factory car, and then you know that, okay, I'm in a good mood. Today I will be close, but I'm there.
You had more signals from the car racing world if it was good or bad, than in skiing it was more blind, and you just had to see where you ended up. Even if you had a good feeling, maybe it wasn't quick, but in the cars you always had a few more references to know. It feels like skiing is a little bit more similar on the distance, like an extreme E race, where it's like a minute and a half or so on the same track that you practice on. How do you find working in like the extreme E world? You're a team principal now, obviously moving away from racing, almost entering your third chapter of your sporting career, with both being obviously TV presenter and team principal, which is your main. How are you finding that, not being behind the wheel, not being the main competitor, but coaching all the team to great success?
When I stepped in, I was in a I was not worried, but I was asking myself, what can I bring to them? Uh, I mean, to the whole team. I'm not, in the mechanic, all the mechanic, they know their work. And when you have like you, Kevin and Timmy, I mean, drivers like you have been really high level in same sport. Then even rallycross is very close from me, extremely. But I was not worried. But then I was saying to myself, okay, what can I do? But you know that in the team, the atmosphere has to be quiet to have the good success, and that's what I try to bring. Of course, it's not easy for everybody every day. We all do mistakes, especially. I mean, sometimes the drivers. I mean, you cannot be 100%. We ask you to be 100%. So sometimes you go over this limit, and then it happens. If everybody is safe, that's part of the sport. And extreme E is lots of touches and everything can happen at the first turn, and it's difficult. And what I saw with Molly Taylor and you, Kevin, it's to be listened. I mean, to be understood and to be listened. And that was the hardest point for me. I mean, try to bring you both, something we can help you. But first of all, confidence. We need to bring you. I mean, as a team principal, we need to bring you the best material, of course, the best condition to succeed. That's all. And then at the end, these little things of confidence who maybe push you, to be a little bit better. But I'm happy because what we achieved the last 1.5 seasons, almost 2 seasons, we made good things together, and I'm happy for that. I
Yeah.
would like to. I'm missing races even now because
Yeah.
this season looked very strange in extreme H and E.
Yeah, we're still waiting to see what's happening with that. It's always like I always thought it's nice to come into your team, and like the atmosphere there is really nice. It's just like you have a good vibe. You have that family feeling as we do in rallycross. And we have your energy, Luke, and of course my brother there, and we have a good coffee. Like I like during the extreme E races to pop over to your tent and sit there for a little bit. You probably think that I'm spying. I am a little bit, but no.
Not too much.
Right stuff. We have not so much, margin of, setting in the extreme E, but in the sport we have this, play, to play. I mean, that's the basic. We need to have fun, and because it's a game. Of course, it's an important game with serious things to do, but okay, I'm not the good point because I don't think so much. When I was doing
Just
my
go flat
sport,
out.
I was like so much instinctive guy, even in skiing and even in a car racing. I made a few races, because I won in off road. Some races. I won Morocco, I won Dakar, I won Tunisia, I won Las Pampas Rally, I won Dubai, I won, few races. I never expected that. And, but I did it with lots of instinct, that's, and fun, of course.
Yeah, I think that's your best point, Luke. When you come to the races, you bring so much determination that you want to win, but you never let go of the ground and saying we need to enjoy, we need to have fun, we're together. But we put all on each other a lot of pressure, but it's never a point where we feel like we are alone. You always unite us all in the team in a fantastic way, and I think it's also because you've been on my and Molly's position. You understand how it is to be a team owner because you did own your or race team in Le Mans, and you were your own athlete. You come from different disciplines. You work with so many people. You've been a mechanic in the middle of the desert. Like, you understand each of every person's own position in the race team, and you're humble to that. And I think that's what makes you unify such a great race team, and making us all able to go and win like we did last couple of years with Veloce.
Yeah, that's I feel it also. Even on the Dakar, it's like multifaceted of the discipline. I'm also race director for the Silkway Rally, so and I work for the TV, on the Dakar. I can like different view of the whole of the whole race. And every time I go back on the Dakar, for example, it's lots of fun.
You've been a driver, you're a Red Bull athlete now, you're a TV presenter, team principal. What is your, I guess as athletes, we always have a dream. What is your next dream? What's going on in Luc Alphand's world right now? What is your next target?
Wow, this I mean, I'm getting old. I'm getting old, and
Finish the house in Andorra,
almost,
maybe is the goal.
60 this year. But I would like to do a kind of a trip of putting all my passion together. I mean, the trip could be sailing, because I race also sailing 4 years. I was
Oh, really?
doing the
No way.
yeah. I IMOCA class, the boat of the Vendée Globe. I made 2 seasons like that. I was 1 year with Hydroptère, the first boat with the foils, and then with the Maxi 50, the big trimaran. And I was this 4 years also. It's part of my life, and then I would like to maybe sail to India, take a bike trip to Nepal, and also a little bit of climbing. And I would like to make maybe a 8,000-meter in skiing, to show you, and then back down, and then with a 4-wheel drive going around the Himalaya. Could
It's
be
quite a target.
unbelievable.
What an adventure.
This
Yeah.
you start off,
This
I
would
don't
make a
know.
movie or a series or something.
Yeah,
Wow.
but maybe, Red Bull, media house, we need to talk to them. And
Yes.
okay, maybe, because it's could be still some sport and adventure all together.
Wow.
Yeah. Well, you got a fellow
Incredible.
boat racer here, so we can talk boats. I can be with you
Yeah,
on the
I know
boat.
that. Yeah, but
The bike, I would be too scared probably, and the climbing, I'm afraid. And the rest, I would be too scared. Apart from the end, the driving.
I know both are incredibly fast. I was in Dubai with the Victory team once, inside the big what's the class? I mean, the bigger class. And
Formula One? No,
Formula One. No, the Formula One, the small one, but the class one, not the long.
yeah, Class 1 is the big offshore
we
class.
reached 200 something, 220 on the water. Was wow.
Yeah.
Wow.
That was just like crazy. Wow.
Yeah.
Well,
Man.
sailing, it's way slower.
Yeah, but it's still exciting. And then, like, what a sportsman you are. Like, it's fascinating to hear, like, how you've done so many sports. And I love your mentality on everything, like the way that you keep passion, and like you look very happy when you talk about all the adventures you have done. And it can't be a coincidence that you have been so successful for such a long time in multiple careers. It's and still dreaming of such a project. That would be incredible to see or follow if you pull that off.
Yeah, I would like to, because till you can move, it's good. Sport is the best school of life, and then you learn so much. It's so much. It's suffering, like I said. It's tough, but it brings you so much.
Now you're team manager, and we have a typical question on this podcast to everyone, that you have to put together a dream team. So it can't be with me and Kevin, otherwise, it will be people will feel
Unfair.
rude if they didn't choose us every time. So not anyone on this podcast, not yourself. Team
Well,
manager, spotter, 2 drivers, male and a female, and the
The
car
car.
championship. What is your dream team?
yeah, but depends on which discipline. I have all disciplines.
So choose the best discipline. Yeah.
Yeah.
Which one? Where would you put together a team?
Wow. It's the panel is large.
Yeah.
So I will choose something I know. So maybe a Dakar team.
Mm-hmm.
The team manager could be. I will believe in someone who maybe race a car and who's able to put people together. Wow. And the driver, I will choose like one of the future.
You can choose
And
which one you
one
want.
with
Yeah.
experience. So 2 drivers in who can win the
And male and female has to be. One male, one female.
one male, one female. So
Yeah.
I would choose Co-drive, Michael Wilson.
Yes.
That's the guy I
No,
love.
David Richards is from Pro
That
Drive.
is Richard. Sorry, David
Yeah.
Richard.
Okay, so David Richards is
No,
the
Michael
team.
Wilson. No, she's Ford. He's Ford.
Michael Wilson is Ford, yeah. He's
Yeah,
from
yeah,
M
no,
Sport.
no.
Yeah.
David Richards.
David
I
Richards,
love
he's
the
the
way
team
he's
principal.
doing things.
Mm.
And the English are okay. So sometimes hard to, as a French and a rugby fan, it's always the fight with the English.
Yeah, it's not.
But
That's not
you
the
know the
best.
way they do motorsport or sailing, even sailing is pretty good. So David
Yeah.
Richard as a team manager, a car, not their car, not the Dacia now.
Not the Dacia, I know.
I love the Ford, the new Ford.
Ford Raptor.
The noise and the car can win. As a
Nice.
female driver, we have in our championship few good ones.
Yeah, a lot of
I will
great
go
female racers
for
there.
Laia Sainz because she has good experience of navigation and desert.
Yeah, she's
And
been
then
on
a
the
boy.
bike. She's been in the car. She's good one for the Dakar. Yeah.
And you know everybody thought or think that I will put Nasser, but I won't put Nasser.
Mm.
You know what? Because I love him and he's a great champion in our sports, I will put Sébastien Loeb.
Yeah. What a team.
He deserves so much to win this race.
Yeah.
But he is not. I mean, after 6 or 7 Dakars now, or even more.
Yeah, no, it's 10. 10
It's
Dakars,
10, yeah.
I think.
He is still not ready there.
Mm.
Slow down.
He's not
Slow
there.
down some days. And so Loeb, Laia Sainz, and David Richards.
And the Ford Raptor.
And the
I love
Ford
that.
Raptor. Yeah.
Wow.
What a team.
Yeah, could be nice team. Give me the
Could be
money and
nice,
then
yeah.
I will
Yeah.
organize things.
You will get a good paycheck from that when you win.
Yeah. Oh, yes. We had 4 cars at the time, and Volkswagen also. Everything can happen in 2 weeks, and that's we need 2 more drivers. You know, the boss Hansen looks good in my team.
Yeah, perfect. We'll come. Yeah, you need 4 cars in the Dakar to win. That's crazy.
Yes.
We'll
Of course,
happily
yeah.
join under your guidance, Luke. It's been awesome having you on our podcast, and thank you so much from sharing your history through skiing into motorsport world. A bit of sailing, I had no idea you had been going on the water. It's awesome. I really appreciate you coming on, and can't wait to go racing again soon.
No, that was a pleasure. I mean, it's always a pleasure to be with you. So I hope to meet you soon, really soon. You know, as soon as possible.
Yeah, thank you to everyone who's been listening today. I enjoyed it so much to hear your story, Luke. And yeah, leave a like if you enjoyed the episode, and we'll catch you again next Thursday.